Love in Hollywood is rarely simple, but when it blossoms between two black icons, it becomes something unforgettable. From secret weddings to public storms, these couples found passion, pain, and perseverance under the spotlight. Some stood the test of time, others ended in heartbreak, but all left a lasting mark. Welcome to Legends of Black Excellence, where today we explore 19 black celebrity love stories that began on set and changed lives forever. Which one will surprise you the most? Let's find out. Denzel Washington and Pauletta Pearson Washington. Before Denzel Washington became a global icon with 2 Academy Awards and a Presidential Medal of Freedom, he was a young actor with ambition, and it was on the set of the 1977 television film Wilma that he met the woman who would become his lifelong partner, Pauletta Pearson. Already a classically trained pianist and Yale School of Drama alumna, Pauletta brought poise and artistic depth to the project. Their bond began as friendship, grew through shared values, and deepened with time, not hype. Pauletta famously turned down Denzel's marriage proposal twice before finally accepting his third. They married on June 25, 1983, long before the peak of his career. At the time, she was the higher earner and more established talent. This dynamic laid the groundwork for a partnership based on mutual respect rather than ego. Their relationship wasn't driven by headlines but by shared goals and quiet resilience. Raising 4 children, actor John David, producer Katia, and twins Malcolm and Olivia, they navigated the demands of fame while prioritizing family stability. Despite grueling film schedules, award shows, and global fame, Denzel remained consistent in his praise for Pauletta, once stating, "The difference between me and other people is I have a wife who stood by me through everything." Throughout their over 4 decades together, the couple has faced challenges, including rumors of separation and external pressure from the spotlight. But instead of broadcasting their struggles, they remained private and grounded. Pauletta's decision to step away from her own career ambitions to nurture their home life was not an act of sacrifice, but of strength, a role Denzel has credited time and again as the cornerstone of his success. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Will Smith met Jada Pinkett in 1990 when she auditioned to play his girlfriend on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Though she didn't get the part, that moment planted a seed. Their real connection wouldn't blossom until years later, built on long conversations, emotional openness, and mutual curiosity. They began dating in the mid-1990s and married on December 31, 1997, in a private ceremony away from the public eye. Their relationship, however, has never fit the mold of a traditional Hollywood romance. Jada, known for her sharp intellect and fierce independence, wasn't easily swayed by Will's charm or fame. What drew her in was his depth, the late-night talks about life and philosophy, not the red carpets or box office numbers. Together, they've raised 2 children, Jaden and Willow, and blended their family with Will's son from a previous marriage. But their union hasn't been without turbulence. In 2020, during a now-famous episode of Red Table Talk, Jada revealed a past entanglement with singer August Alsina while she and Will were privately separated. Rather than crumbling under public scrutiny, the couple chose honesty over optics. They leaned into discomfort, confronting their pain head-on in front of millions. That moment didn't break them. It revealed the strength beneath their bond. Will later described their relationship as a brutal journey, both brutal and beautiful. Their marriage continues to evolve beyond traditional definitions, shaped by transparency, reflection, and the choice to stay, even when walking away may have been easier. Angela Bassett and Courtney B. Vance. Angela Bassett and Courtney B. Vance first crossed paths in the 1980s as students at the Yale School of Drama, but their romantic connection didn't spark until years later while working in Hollywood. The turning point came during the early 1990s, particularly as their paths aligned on Boys in the Hood and other industry events. What began as friendship rooted in admiration gradually transformed into something far more profound. They married in 1997 and have since become one of Hollywood's most respected couples, not just for their talent, but for their unity. Angela's star continued to rise through critically acclaimed roles in What's Love Got to Do with It, Malcolm X, and later Black Panther, while Kourtney built a respected career on both stage and screen, earning accolades including an Emmy for The People v. O.J. Simpson. Through it all, Kourtney has remained steadfast in his support, often crediting Angela's discipline and grace as a guiding force in their home life. In interviews, Angela has emphasized the importance of partnership built on respect, shared faith, and purpose. Together, they've raised twins, Slater and Bronwyn, while maintaining a grounded household far removed from tabloid drama. Their relationship has never relied on spectacle. Instead, it's defined by deep alignment, spiritually, emotionally, and professionally. In an industry where image often takes precedence over substance, Angela and Kourtney offer a powerful example of what it means to uplift one another without competition or ego. Their love wasn't hurried. It was cultivated with care and intention, proof that when two individuals grow individually and together, the result is a union that not only lasts but inspires. Samuel L. Jackson and LaTanya Richardson. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson met LaTanya Richardson in the early 1970s while attending Morehouse College, and she was at Spelman. Their shared love of theater and a mutual determination to build meaningful lives formed the foundation of a partnership that has endured more than 5 decades. They married in 1980, long before Hollywood knew Samuel's name. Their relationship was tested early, especially during Samuel's battle with addiction in the 1980s. LaTanya, an accomplished actress in her own right, stood firmly by his side, even checking him into rehab when the darkness threatened to consume their family. Her support was more than emotional, it was transformational. Samuel has openly credited her for saving his life and giving him the structure to pursue greatness. As his career skyrocketed with Pulp Fiction and countless blockbuster roles, LaTanya often found herself sidelined by an industry that overlooked her own achievements. Still, she chose to stay rooted, nurturing their daughter Zoe and holding their family together. Tensions rose in 1998 when Samuel forgot to mention LaTanya during his Golden Globe acceptance speech, a painful moment she never downplayed. Instead of allowing the omission to divide them, they turned to therapy and recommitted to one another. Their love story is not the fairy tale variety, but one steeped in perseverance, forgiveness, and mutual growth. Today, they remain a unit, not just surviving Hollywood's chaos, but thriving beyond it, as producers, parents, and partners in life and legacy. Cicely Tyson and Miles Davis. Cicely Tyson, the trailblazing actress known for her dignity and power on screen, met jazz legend Miles Davis in the early 1970s. Their connection was immediate, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual, but far from easy. At the time, Miles was battling personal demons, including drug abuse and a reputation for volatile behavior. Cicely, deeply principled and focused, saw both his brilliance and his pain. They married in 1981 after years of an on-and-off relationship. It was a union of two icons, but also of two contrasting forces. Cicely was grounded and private, while Miles was erratic and drawn to chaos. She supported his attempts at sobriety, offering him structure and peace he hadn't found elsewhere. However, the marriage was marred by infidelity and emotional strain. One of the most hurtful episodes came when Miles failed to publicly acknowledge Cicely at a major concert, a moment that symbolized the imbalance in their relationship. Still, she returned, not out of weakness, but through a belief in his potential to change. And he did, to a degree. In his final years, Miles made efforts to reconcile, even apologizing for the ways he had let her down. They divorced in 1988, but the connection remained complex and unforgettable. Tyson never remarried, and in interviews, she spoke of Miles not with bitterness, but with honesty. Their love was not perfect, but it was real, one that challenged both of them to confront their truths. It stands as a haunting reminder that love, no matter how deep, sometimes can't conquer all, but it can leave a mark that endures. Diane Carroll and Vic Damone. When Diane Carroll, the first black woman to star in her own television series, Julia, 1968, and crooner Vic Damone began dating in the mid-1970s, their relationship instantly drew public fascination. Both were successful, attractive, and well-established, Diane with her groundbreaking roles and Vic with his velvet voice and classic Italian charm. Their union seemed like a perfect blend of two worlds, but behind the glamour was a relationship strained by competing careers and clashing identities. They married in 1987 after years of an on-again, off-again romance that included several breakups and reconciliations. While there was genuine affection, their marriage faced deep tensions. Diane's fame continued to rise during a time when Vic's stardom had already peaked. Publicly, Vic expressed frustration with being labeled Mr. Carroll, feeling overshadowed by her success. In one interview, he admitted the imbalance in recognition made him feel diminished, a sentiment that created underlying resentment. Diane, known for her poise and independence, didn't shrink herself to ease his insecurities. She was a woman ahead of her time, confident, unapologetically ambitious, and unwilling to conform to expectations of a more traditional, submissive spouse. Ultimately, those conflicting energies became too much to reconcile. They divorced in 1996 after nearly a decade of marriage. Diane would later reflect that while she loved Vic, their relationship had never been built on equal ground. Their story is a reminder that compatibility isn't only about shared passions, it's also about emotional maturity and the ability to accept one another's success without insecurity. Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis. Few Hollywood love stories are as legendary or as politically powerful as that of Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis. Meeting in 1946 while co-starring in the Broadway play Jeb, the two forged a bond that transcended romance. They married in 1948 and spent the next 57 years together, not just as husband and wife, but as artistic collaborators, civil rights activists, and cultural icons. Their marriage stood as a model of unity during a time when black couples in the spotlight were rare and often silenced. Both were committed to the civil rights movement, working closely with figures like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Paul Robeson. Their activism wasn't symbolic, it was lived. They used their fame to fight racism, speak truth to power, and amplify voices that were being silenced. Professionally, they co-starred in numerous films and plays, including Do the Right Thing and Jungle Fever, where their chemistry was as compelling as their off-screen bond. But their marriage wasn't without hardship. Financial instability in early years, Ossie's brief infidelities, which they addressed openly in interviews, and the weight of constant public responsibility tested their partnership. Yet they endured, not through denial, but through transparency and shared vision. In their joint autobiography, With Ossie and Ruby. In this life together, they reflected honestly on love, struggle, and what it meant to grow together while fighting for something greater than themselves. James Earl Jones and Cecilia Hart. James Earl Jones, one of the most iconic voices in cinematic history, met actress Cecilia Hart while working together on the Broadway production of Othello in the early 1980s. Their connection was immediate, but it was their work on The Great White Hope, first on stage, then on screen, that cemented their bond. They married in 1982 and remained together until Cecilia's passing in 2016. Their relationship was built on mutual admiration, creative respect, and a shared love for the theater. While James went on to global fame as the voice of Darth Vader and Mufasa, Cecilia quietly stepped back from the limelight, focusing on their home life and raising their son, Flynn Earl Jones. Despite the stark contrast in their fame, they supported one another without competition. Though they kept their private life largely out of the public eye, their love was enduring. In moments of tribute, James has spoken of Cecilia as his rock and credited her for bringing emotional balance to his life. One painful moment came in 1987 when James failed to invite her to the premiere of The Lion King, a misstep he later deeply regretted. It served as a turning point, a reminder that even the most powerful voices can forget to speak where it matters most. Despite that, their union endured with grace. They didn't perform their love for cameras. They lived it quietly, consistently, and with depth. Until her death from ovarian cancer at age 68, Cecilia remained a steadfast partner to one of Hollywood's most respected legends. Phylicia Rashad and Ahmad Rashad. When former NFL star turned sportscaster Ahmad Rashad proposed to the Cosby Show star Phylicia Rashad live on national television in 1985, it felt like a modern fairy tale. Phylicia, at the peak of her fame as Claire Huxtable, said yes. Their wedding, attended by big names including Bill Cosby, was a media event, and their union was seen as a Black power couple moment of the decade. But beyond the dazzling start, their marriage was far more nuanced. Both were navigating demanding careers, Phylicia with her landmark television success and Ahmad as a respected broadcaster. The couple blended their families, each had children from previous relationships, and became fixtures on red carpets and at charity events. Yet, fame carries weight. In the late 1990s, tabloid rumors surfaced alleging Ahmad's infidelity. Though never confirmed, the gossip cast a long shadow over their relationship. Phylicia, known for her elegance and strength, never addressed the rumors publicly. Instead, she remained poised, focusing on her career and her children. Their marriage quietly ended in divorce in 2001, after 16 years. Neither aired grievances nor turned their breakup into spectacle. In later interviews, Phylicia reflected with maturity and grace on the relationship, crediting their time together for personal growth and treasured memories. Today, both have continued their professional journeys with distinction. Their story serves as a reminder that even the most celebrated unions can experience strain behind the scenes, and that how a couple chooses to carry themselves in those moments defines their legacy just as much as their beginnings. Harry Belafonte and Julie Robinson. Harry Belafonte, the legendary singer, actor, and civil rights activist, met dancer and actress Julie Robinson in the 1950s, during a time when interracial relationships faced intense public scrutiny. Their romance began on the set of Island in the Sun, 1957, a film already considered controversial for its themes of racial tension. Off-screen, their connection was just as daring and far more personal. The couple married in 1958, marking one of the earliest high-profile interracial marriages in Hollywood. While Harry's career was soaring with hits like Day-O and impactful film roles, Julie was building her own name as a classically trained dancer with the Katherine Dunham Company. Their union wasn't just romantic, it was political. At the height of the civil rights era, their relationship was both celebrated and criticized, with some fans accusing Harry of turning his back on the Black community. Despite the pressure, they stayed together for nearly 47 years, raising 2 children and navigating fame, activism, and artistic life. Yet even within this powerful partnership, cracks eventually formed. In the 1960s, Julie was reportedly hurt when Harry failed to include her at a prestigious award event, an omission that fueled whispers of growing distance. They divorced in 2004, but their legacy as cultural trailblazers remains intact. Their marriage wasn't always smooth, but it symbolized a challenge to social norms and a defiance of the limitations imposed by race and reputation. Eartha Kitt and John Barrymore. Eartha Kitt, the sultry-voiced singer and actress best known for Santa Baby and her iconic portrayal of Catwoman, began a whirlwind romance with actor John Barrymore Jr. in 1949. The two met while filming the mating season, and though the film didn't feature romantic tension, their off-screen chemistry was electric and undeniable. Barrymore, part of the famed Barrymore acting dynasty, and Kit, a fiercely independent performer with an international following, made a striking pair. They married in 1950, defying expectations with a union that was both passionate and volatile. Eartha, born into poverty in South Carolina, had worked her way to international fame. John, by contrast, struggled with substance abuse and the shadow of his family name. Their relationship was marred by infidelity. Rumors of John's involvement with other actresses circulated almost immediately, and Eartha, known for her pride and strength, refused to play the role of the submissive wife. Their most dramatic fallout occurred in 1952 when, after the premiere of a film they worked on, Eartha publicly walked out on him, marking the beginning of the end. Though there were brief attempts at reconciliation, including a rumored reunion in 1955, Eartha never fully forgave him for the emotional wounds he inflicted. Their marriage ultimately ended in divorce, but it remained a subject of fascination for decades. Two tempestuous talents drawn together by intensity, undone by betrayal. Tina Turner and Ike Turner. Tina Turner and Ike Turner's relationship began in 1957, when Tina, then Anna Mae Bullock, was still a teenager, and Ike was an already established musician and bandleader. Recognizing her raw, explosive talent, Ike invited her to join his band, which eventually led to their musical and romantic partnership. In 1960, the duo released their first hit, A Fool in Love, and by 1962, they were married in a ceremony in Tijuana, Mexico. Together, they created a sound that electrified audiences. Hits like Proud Mary and River Deep, Mountain High turned them into international stars. On stage, they were a powerhouse. Off stage, the story was far darker. Tina would later reveal in her memoirs and interviews that Ike was physically and emotionally abusive throughout their marriage. The control he exerted extended from business to personal life. She was isolated, manipulated, and routinely beaten. The most harrowing incident occurred in 1976, just before a concert in Dallas. After a violent altercation in the car, Tina fled with only 36 cents and a gas station credit card. She filed for divorce shortly after, finalizing it in 1978. She walked away from the Ike and Tina Turner brand, asking only to keep her stage name. Tina rebuilt her life from scratch, rising to even greater solo success in the 1980s with Private Dancer, and ultimately became one of the most successful female rock artists of all time. Her survival story became a beacon for women facing abuse. Ike Turner died in 2007. Tina passed away in 2023. Their legacy is complicated, one built on musical genius, but irreparably stained by violence. Lena Horne and Harold Nicholas. Lena Horne, the luminous singer and actress who broke color barriers in Hollywood, met Harold Nicholas of the famed Nicholas Brothers in the early 1940s. Harold, a renowned tap dancer known for his precision and charisma, was at the peak of his career, and Lena was quickly becoming MGM's first black contract star. They fell in love during a time when Hollywood was hostile to black talent, let alone black love. Studios were wary of promoting black couples, often forcing actors into roles that diminished their dignity. Despite the odds, Lena and Harold married in 1947 and had one daughter, Gail. Their union, however, was deeply strained. Harold's career began to decline, while Lena's soared, and traditional gender expectations made the imbalance difficult to navigate. Compounding the tension was the external racism they faced daily: housing discrimination, limited roles, and social segregation. Hollywood didn't just ignore their love, it actively suppressed it. Lena was frequently away on tour or in production, while Harold struggled with feelings of being eclipsed. Their marriage collapsed in 1953 after 6 years. Though never characterized by scandal, it was marked by disappointment and unspoken pain. Lena rarely discussed the marriage in depth, but her career and activism afterward suggested a woman determined to reclaim her narrative. Tessa Thompson and Janelle Monáe. Tessa Thompson and Janelle Monáe never needed to make a formal announcement for the world to take notice. Their chemistry spoke volumes. The two actresses first connected on the set of Hidden Figures, 2016, though they didn't play romantic leads. Behind the scenes, however, a deep friendship blossomed into what many believe became a tender, if intentionally private, romantic relationship. In 2018, speculation reached its peak with the release of Janelle Monáe's critically acclaimed album Dirty Computer, which featured Tessa in the music videos for Make Me Feel and Pink. Their physical closeness and shared artistic vision sparked widespread conversation about the nature of their relationship. Though neither has explicitly confirmed they were a couple, Tessa spoke openly in a 2018 Porter interview about being attracted to both men and women and hinted that she and Janelle love each other deeply. Their bond was never about tabloid headlines. It was about representation and emotional truth. Both women have used their platforms to challenge heteronormative standards in Hollywood, becoming icons for queer Black visibility. Janelle's gender-fluid, Afrofuturistic persona complemented Tessa's grounded vulnerability, creating a synergy that resonated with audiences seeking authenticity in an industry driven by image. Whether romantic partners or soul-connected collaborators, their closeness redefined how intimacy between two Black queer women could be seen, on their own terms. Their story is not just about love, but about the freedom to exist unapologetically and define identity outside of societal expectations. Lena Horne and Lenny Hayton. Lena Horne, one of the most groundbreaking Black entertainers of the 20th century, met composer and conductor Lenny Hayton while working at MGM in the 1940s. He was a prominent white music director, and she was MGM's first Black female contract player, an unprecedented and controversial match for the time. They fell in love despite the harsh realities of Jim Crow America and Hollywood's deeply segregated studio system. In 1947, they quietly married in Paris to avoid backlash in the United States, where interracial unions were still illegal in several states and socially condemned in most others. The couple kept their marriage secret for several years to protect Lena's career. Studio executives feared public knowledge of the relationship would hurt her marketability, and Lena herself acknowledged the painful calculus of needing to conceal a personal truth in order to survive professionally. Lenny, for his part, used his influence to help Lena access better roles and musical opportunities, often working behind the scenes to protect her from the industry's racism. Despite their love, the marriage was complex. Lena later admitted that part of her decision to marry Lenny was strategic, believing that aligning herself with a powerful white man might help shield her from the blatant discrimination she faced as a Black woman in Hollywood. Still, they remained together until Lenny's death in 1971. Regina Hall and Sterling K. Brown. Though not an actual romantic couple in real life, Regina Hall and Sterling K. Brown captivated audiences with their powerful chemistry in The Best Man, The Final Chapters, 2022, reigniting interest in their off-screen friendship and collaborative dynamic. The two first shared the screen in The Best Man Holiday, 2013, and while they didn't play love interests in that installment, their behind-the-scenes camaraderie laid the groundwork for deeper creative synergy in later projects. Over the years, rumors circulated suggesting that the two may have developed a romantic bond off-camera, especially as they continued to appear together in various interviews and projects. In 2020, whispers emerged that Sterling had proposed to Regina back in 2017, but was turned down, though neither star confirmed the speculation. If true, it would speak to a connection grounded in patience and mutual respect rather than fleeting passion. Both actors have built impressive careers defined by emotional depth and versatility. Regina Hall, known for her roles in Girls Trip, Scary Movie, and The Hate You Give balances comedic timing with grounded realism. Sterling K. Brown, an Emmy winner for This Is Us, has long been praised for his intensity and emotional precision. When paired, their energies complement one another with striking authenticity. While their real-life relationship remains platonic and professional, the admiration between them is evident. Whether or not a proposal ever occurred, fans continue to root for a love story between two of Hollywood's most respected black talents, a testament to the way art can blur the line between fiction and possibility. Lawrence Fishburne and Gina Torres. Lawrence Fishburne and Gina Torres met in the early 2000s and were married in 2002, just as both were entering major phases of their respective careers. Lawrence, already acclaimed for his intense, transformative performances in films like Boys in the Hood and The Matrix, was one of the most respected black actors of his generation. Gina, a rising star, would go on to earn her own acclaim in Suits, Firefly, and Westworld. Their romance was rooted in shared values, artistic respect, and a love for the craft of acting. They became a powerful Hollywood couple, raising a daughter together and balancing public life with private commitments. On red carpets, they appeared poised and in sync, never overly flashy, but always dignified. Despite their strong bond, the demands of their careers eventually created distance. In 2017, Gina publicly announced that they had quietly separated the year before, and their divorce was finalized in 2018. Her statement emphasized that while their marriage had ended, their love and respect for one another remained intact, a rare and mature approach in the glare of Hollywood scrutiny. Their story is one of evolution, not failure. It reflects the reality that even deep love can shift as individuals grow. What remains is mutual admiration, co-parenting, and a legacy of two actors who supported each other's rise without rivalry. In an industry that often weaponizes fame against relationships, Lawrence and Gina chose dignity, leaving behind a love story defined not by drama, but by grace. 1902. Blair Underwood and Desiree DaCosta. Blair Underwood, widely recognized for his roles in L.A. Law, Quantico, and Self-Made, met Desiree DaCosta in the late 1980s when she was working as a production assistant for Eddie Murphy. Their worlds collided behind the scenes. Blair, a rising star with striking screen presence, and Desiree, sharp, focused, and grounded in the business side of Hollywood. They married in 1994 and built a strong, quiet partnership that lasted nearly 3 decades. Together, they raised 3 children and maintained a remarkably low-profile personal life, despite Blair's enduring presence on television and film. Unlike many Hollywood marriages, theirs was rarely the subject of gossip or spectacle. Desiree wasn't a public figure, but her influence was evident in Blair's frequent acknowledgments of her unwavering support and presence. In May 2021, the couple jointly announced their separation after 27 years of marriage, emphasizing that their decision came from a place of love, mutual respect, and shared growth. The statement noted they would always be best friends and co-parents, highlighting a graceful exit from a chapter that had spanned most of their adult lives. Though their romantic journey concluded, Blair and Desiree's story remains one of partnership, loyalty, and dignity. In an industry where fame often complicates intimacy, they modeled a relationship that put family and personal integrity first. Chadwick Boseman and Taylor Simone Ledward. Chadwick Boseman, known to the world as King T'Challa in Black Panther, lived a life that was fiercely private and deeply intentional, especially when it came to love. He met Taylor Simone Ledward, a classically trained singer, around 2015. Their relationship blossomed quietly, with very few public appearances and virtually no media fanfare. Chadwick, who valued discretion, shielded their bond from the spotlight as he quietly fought a 4-year battle with colon cancer. Throughout his illness, Taylor stood firmly by his side. While the public marveled at Chadwick's stamina, filming Black Panther, Da Five Bloods and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom while undergoing surgeries and chemotherapy, Taylor was his constant source of strength and peace. Friends and colleagues often mentioned her quiet presence at his side, supporting him through both triumphs and private pain. The couple married in secret sometime before Chadwick's passing, on August 28, 2020. At just 43 years old, his death shocked the world. In a statement confirming his death, his family acknowledged Taylor as his wife, marking her role not just as a partner, but as the person who walked with him through his most vulnerable moments. Taylor has remained largely silent in public, choosing grief over the spotlight. Yet her presence at posthumous award ceremonies, accepting honors on his behalf with grace and emotion, has become symbolic of a love marked by loyalty, privacy, and immeasurable strength. Which of these powerful love stories moved you the most? Do you believe true love can survive the pressures of fame and public life? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this video inspired you or made you see these iconic couples in a new light, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence for more stories that celebrate love, legacy, and Black greatness in every form. Forget to hit the like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence for more stories that celebrate love, legacy, and Black greatness in every form.